got a little bit of trivia for you. Where would you find the southernmost point in the United States? Now, a lot of people right off the bat might be thinking the Florida Keys. The Florida Keys only wish that they were the southernmost point in the U.S. The southernmost point is actually where I am standing right now on the big island of Hawaii. You cannot get any more southern than what I am now, unless maybe I had a glass of sweet tea. But anyway, we've jumped over from the island of Oahu to the big island of Hawaii. There's a lot of history here, a lot of stuff that I'm familiar with that I'm wanting to learn about. So we're going to be doing a little bit of exploring today, going to some ancient sites, going to some volcanoes, and seeing what we can learn here on the big island. So as I mentioned, this spot right here is the southernmost point in the United States, but there is some historical significance to this place as well. It is thought that it is right here along these shores that the first Polynesian explorers to step foot on Hawaii came ashore. And these Polynesian explorers, I have just an insane amount of respect for, because they were doing things way before the European explorers came along, and were doing it with what we would consider more rudimentary sailing vessels. And right up here on this point, we have some people who are fishing, but this is what is thought to be the earliest settlement on the Hawaiian Islands. This is known as the Kalalea Heiau, and it is thought to date back to the 120s, which is completely crazy. So the closest Polynesian island to where we are right now is Fiji, and it's thought that this was the next stopping point for the Polynesian explorers. Very, very interesting. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move along now. Here's a quick look inland from the southern point here on the big island. And as you can see, it kind of looks like, I don't know, Texas or South Dakota or something like that. That's what it reminds me of. Another little interesting historical tidbit is in the early 1960s, the South Point here on the big island of Hawaii was on NASA's short list to be the location for the rocket launches, but it was deemed to be too remote. And man, from my perspective, also too windy. Seems like a Saturn V rocket would just blow over right here. All right, I've moved just to the other side of the point where the wind is a little less violent to show one other quick thing before we move along. This right here is a canoe mooring hole. So the first Polynesians who inhabited this island, let's say you want to go out and do some fishing in your canoe, but you don't want to get washed out to sea. I can sympathize with that. Well, you might use what's called one of these mooring holes to tie off on. That way you don't drift out into the abyss. Yeah, pretty interesting. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to a few other sites. Okay, this is kind of lame, I know, because this is supposed to be a video about Hawaiian and Polynesian history, but I gotta throw a bone to the World War II nerds like myself. The Big Island also served as the site for Camp Tarawa, which was a place where the 2nd and 5th Marine Divisions trained during World War II. So the name Camp Tarawa, as you can imagine, was in honor of the Battle of Tarawa, which the 2nd Marine Division took part in. They came back here to the Big Island to refit and recuperate and to train, and it was from here that they left to participate in the invasions of Saipan and Tinian. We're going to be going to those places later on. And then also The 5th Marine Division arrived in camp here in the summer and fall of 1944 and conducted rehearsals along some of these steep volcanic hills for the assault on Iwo Jima. So if you are going to be launching an invasion of a big volcanic rock, well, the best place to train might be another big volcanic rock. So if we walk out here, let me adjust my lighting a little bit, well, you can see some of the terrain out here at what is called Parker Ranch. So the Marines in this area would have been encamped out here and would have conducted mock assaults on that hill in preparation for the fight at Iwo Jima. Pretty amazing. All right, we're going to go ahead and move along to one more site. All right, we've moved up now to the northern part of the island, a little less windy up here. And one of the names that I've heard a lot as I've been here in Hawaii and have been learning more about the history and the culture is a king by the name of Kamehameha. Now, in the late 1700s, like the 1780s, there was a power vacuum here on the big island of Hawaii. The king had died, and Kamehameha and his first cousin were kind of fighting to see who was going to be the next king or the next ruler of this island. And there's a site here that is really integral to the history of the Hawaiian Islands. So what we are looking at here is a place on the big island called Pu'ukohola Heiau. Heiau is a Hawaiian word for temple, or like a sacred space or a sacred place. And as Kamehameha was at war with his first cousin, whose name was Keoa, there was a priest or a kahuna. So if you've ever heard the phrase big kahuna, kahuna means priest. There was a kahuna that prophesied that the war would end if Kamehameha constructed a heiau dedicated to the war god Ku right here at Pu'ukohola. I've moved up here a little bit closer to the heiau, but we're actually blocked from getting, right up to the temple wall, and I want to be respectful of that. I don't want to, cross any boundaries or anything. But construction on this heiau began in 1790 and was finished sometime in 1791. Here's what's crazy. Kamehameha wanted this built using stones from his place of birth, which is about 29 miles north of here. So there was a human chain formed, thousands of people long, and they handed these stones one by one along this chain to build this heiau. And there's no mortar or cement or anything like that. It's just all of these stones stacked on top of one another, and it has held out all of these years, which is really quite remarkable. So we've moved down just a little bit. There's Pu'ukohola, and I do want to make quick mention that there is another heiau here that predated Kamehameha. And this one is called Malakini. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. But while we can't get close to the temple that Kamehameha built, we can get close to this one and get a little bit better idea of how these were built. So again, there's Pu'ukohola up there. Here is Malakini. And after Kamehameha finished the construction of Pu'ukohola, this became kind of like a defensive fort to protect this area. There were some Westerners who were here on the island that had hooked up Kamehameha with some cannon and gave him a little bit of an edge. And then we can look out, of course, over the Pacific from this point. But this is definitely outside of my wheelhouse. I rarely get the opportunity to visit sites like this, but I really do enjoy it because it helps me to kind of get out of my rut and learn some new things. So with the completion of the heiau, or the temple here, the priest, or the kahuna, also said that the dedication required a human sacrifice. So Kamehameha invited his first cousin to come to the dedication ceremony, and the cousin, I don't know if he knew who the sacrifice was supposed to be, but it ended up being him. And after this, Kamehameha ended up going from one island to another and became the first person to consolidate all of the Hawaiian islands into one kingdom. So Hawaii is what it is today because of King Kamehameha. So pretty remarkable to think about the Polynesian people who, just within a couple hundred years of the crucifixion of Christ, were here on this island. They'd moved like from Samoa to Tahiti to Fiji, okay, all through these Polynesian islands on these outrigger canoes. It really is quite remarkable to think about the what capable explorers and navigators these people were. But anyway, got a few other places that we're going to check out here on the Big Island that have to do with volcanoes. But really glad that we came here today. Very, very interesting place. Hey, wanted to jump on here with one more quick thing. Whether I'm on the road or I'm at home or whatever, one thing that's really important to me is internet privacy and security. I don't like having my data tracked or the idea of having it collected and used against me. And if you're the same way, you might want to check out a service called NordVPN. Now, in case you didn't know, VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. And of course, I've signed up for NordVPN a long time ago, but look at how easy this thing is to operate. So all I have to do is click Quick Connect, and boom. Now all of my data is being routed through a secure pipeline, and let's say that I want to maybe check out a streaming service that is available in Australia. There. Well, now I can check that out, or if I'm traveling abroad and I want to, say, watch Netflix or something like that in the United States, well, now I can run it through the United States even if I'm out of the country and can't get Netflix there through a normal server. Very awesome service. All right, well, there you go. So if internet security is as important to you as what it is to me, well then definitely go to nordvpn.com/History Underground. There you can sign up for a 2-year deal with a huge discount plus an additional month for free. NordVPN also has a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee, but I don't think that's going to be an issue because this is something that I have benefited from and think that you will too. So go check it out. We are constantly exploring and learning new things on this channel, so if you found value in this video, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell to catch all of the new content when it comes out. And be sure to check the links in the description for more content and opportunities from our partners.